I had to eat zebra cake on stage and blueberries. I have so many Hansel things that I have to tell you
I'm
later.
so excited.
But
I'm so
I have
excited.
so much food. It's great. I get to spit out cake on stage and sing. I'll never get to play Little Red, and this is my moment. I love it.
Hey everyone, my name's Alyssa.
And my name is Brennan. Welcome back to the Modern Singer Podcast.
It's just a cute little mic check.
We love a mic check. We love an Elmo check-in, you know.
Yeah, speaking of mic checks, happy crossover episode that we have to re-record.
It's fine. It's fine. You know,
I'm so mad.
Not tech delays, but that was a brain delay on my part. You know, technology happens.
Yeah.
Don't trust AI.
Oh my gosh. So we're both crossover artists. You're
Yes.
actively doing a crossover. Are you doing a crossover summer right now?
I have done a crossover summer because just a couple days ago we did an opera and pops concert here at Chautauqua Opera Company, and I used 3 different voices in that concert. I sang operatically, I sang a contemporary musical theater piece, and I also sang a musical theater piece with a New York accent. So I'm considering that a completely different voice. And you're doing the crossover thing because, hello, didn't you just record a gorgeous 14G that is now on YouTube? Go watch it.
LOL, that was back in February, but yes.
But it was so good, and I'm still not over it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll keep this next part in the episode, but I'm trying to do a birthday concert where it's like a solo concert, but I'm dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome and going, ooh, am I going to be able to sell enough tickets to have the show when it's just me? So we'll see what happens.
Rooting for you as always,
Thank you. So many opera companies are doing musical theater nowadays that you can't not do both. Like, you're doing it at Chautauqua, I did it at Charlottesville, like everyone. Even DMMO does it.
There's a lot of West Side Stories happening at opera companies since 2018, but it's still happening. It's going to be 2025, and I know at least 2 that are happening.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Beauty and the Beast, a lot of Sweeney Todd popping up.
Lots of Sweeney Todd popping up right now, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish there would be more Sunday in the Park with George, personally, if we're going to go for a Sondheim.
I did see one last year. El Paso.
Oh, look at you go, El Paso. Very nice.
Thank you, El Paso.
So the first thing I want to talk about for differences between opera packages, the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between an opera package and an MT book.
Oof. Big difference.
Oh, it's so different. Our opera package tends to be pretty standard. Sometimes you'll have to pick and choose different arias for it, but it tends to be the standard 5. You've got, oh gosh, what's even in my package right now? But I've got a contemporary American. I've got German, French, Italian.
Usually they like a Mozart
they love a
in
Mozart.
there sometimes. We're still in that era.
Yeah, making sure that you've got some standards, but it's roles that you could be hired for to play in the next 5 years, because typically
or now,
but it's anything that you can get hired to play between now and 5 years from now for an opera package, and it tends to be pretty set with cool. I've been auditioning with the same songs for 6 years.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute
something
since I
started doing. Something I started doing this past season for my opera package, my arias, is I've actually added a 6th. I've added a musical theater piece as my 6th. Even if companies haven't asked me to, I've thrown in a 6th one, and it's been called multiple times, more than once, just even this past audition season. So I highly suggest, even if they say, what are your 5 arias, put on your rep list, if you have a musical theater piece, put that 6 on there.
So my thing is, I am who I am as a person. I started in musical theater 24 years ago. I put 4 musical theater pieces on my opera rep list.
And then there's Alyssa, who's extra.
So what I usually do is I'll make sure that I've got my Golden Age, a belt piece, and then if they're doing anything specific, I'll add in show stuff. But I usually have at least 2, one showing Golden Age legit and one showing my belt, because people get very confused when a soprano belts Adelaide from Guys and Dolls. It's a wild time.
A person could develop a cold.
A poison.
That sounded more Fran Drescher, my bad.
I knew that was going to be what happened. Did you go Fran Drescher on accident on stage?
I didn't on stage, but that most recent time, about 30 seconds ago, I did.
Yes.
So here we are.
Perfect.
Here we are. But yes, no, I highly suggest adding a musical theater 6 piece to your repertoire for the opera world. And then there's the musical theater book.
So your musical theater book is roles that you can get hired for from now to 6 months from now. It is a much shorter time frame. You're not going to see as many stretch pieces in there, and there tend to be a lot more pieces just for a variety. Let's say you're auditioning for an entire season. You can't just go in with 2 songs, a golden age and whatever, and plan to get hired for a genre that you didn't sing. Or sometimes they want to hear you sing something else, maybe not for the current season they're casting, but for a concert that they have to cast down the road. Or if the casting director's like, maybe not for this company this year, but I have another company in a couple of months that I think they would actually do really well on. And it's music and roles you can get hired to sing right now.
It's very different. I would say the biggest difference I see in an opera aria package versus a musical theater book, besides the length of pieces that and cuts that you might be doing, is I am seeing there is more room and kind of required versatility needed in musical theater than in opera. In opera, you can kind of taper your aria package to, this is where I shine. Yes, I have to represent certain composers, eras, and languages, but this is the type of genre. Maybe you're a coloratura expert. Maybe you are more of a verismo expert. So you can kind of package it, your opera package, a little nicer with a bow and maybe some stickers and things like that. But meanwhile, in the musical theater book, you got to have stickers and bows all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to look like a collage because you have to show belt. You got to show legit. You got to show maybe some pop rock. You might have to throw in a Disney in there. Yeah, it's
a country song.
A country song, exactly. It's going to look like a vision board, musical theater wise.
Wonderful. It's wonderful. Yeah, I usually have about 8 to 10 pieces in my MT book at any given time. And I find that I trade them out a lot more depending on what I'm going in for. Like if there's a season where they're doing, let's say, Sweeney Todd, Cinderella, Shrek, Rock of Ages, and give me another one, My Fair Lady. Those are all very, very different shows.
Yes. And that just sounds like a summer stock season.
Correct.
Yeah.
But with things like summer stock, you have to take in mind that everyone is going to be in every show, or just about. Everyone's going to be in multiple shows.
That is true.
And you have to be able to show that you can do multiple shows.
It's true. So yes, the biggest difference is you have to show some kind of versatility in the musical theater book. And also another huge difference is aria package. You're going in with full arias. You're singing the full thing. I feel like the only exception is if you're doing maybe a ABA situation of your aria package, and if it's your second piece, they might say, hey, just the A prime or just the A or something.
I've had people say, yeah, do the B into the A prime.
Yeah, like maybe you'll get specific then, but you're still doing at least half the aria. But then in musical theater, we start with 32 bars and then it just gets smaller.
32, 16, and then if you're doing a Disney audition, sometimes you get 8.
Or a giant open cattle call.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's 8. It's true.
Ugh.
So, yes, you have to be... It's a different type of preparation between preparing for an opera audition versus musical theater.
I do want to put in just a little caveat, though. So something that one of my coaches, when I was in Boston, said to me is Bel Canto can Belto. So you're not trying to change how you sound. You're just changing how you project it. Not everyone has to go for a full chest belt. There are so many ways to get into and across a wide spectrum of sounds. I'm not going to go into formants like I did last time.
No, you're not. I believe in you. We love a good mix, though.
We do. Oh my God, please mix. Please don't chest an E5. Yezu. I heard someone do that recently at that show that I went to.
Oh boy.
It hurt me.
Ah.
It also ties into, you're not trying to change your sound. The analogy that I like to give, is it an analogy or is it a metaphor? I'm not sure. I didn't pay attention in English class. But
grammar.
I think it is a metaphor. Oh no. But your voice is one flavor of ice cream. In different styles, it is different concentrations of said flavor. You're not trying to be a different flavor in every genre.
I think that's an analogy.
Okay.
But I do agree
As long
with
as you
what
understand
you are saying.
it.
Yes.
But you're not trying to change what flavor of ice cream you are. Someone who came and did a masterclass at Boca when I was there said, you are your flavor of ice cream. Let's say you're strawberry ice cream. Not everyone likes strawberry ice cream. That's okay. You will work with the people who enjoy strawberry ice cream.
Mm-hmm. That also reminds me of, I've been told recently by companies too, they say, hey, you're strawberry ice cream, and you know what? You might be a amazing strawberry ice cream. You might be the best strawberry ice cream I've ever had, but we need chocolate for this season. So sorry. That sounds really weird out of context. Anyway, I don't know.
I love a food analogy. All of my students can attest to it. Whenever, oh my God, at the college, I just get hungry at some point in the day, and then all of my everything just is a food. Everything is food. I'm in
Hansel and Gretel right now, and everything quite literally is food, so it's going to take me a while to shake that off.
I love it. So the last thing I want to talk about is, with this in mind, how classical training has supported our musical theater singing. Because it's so important. So tell me a little bit about how it's helped you.
And it's hard to narrow that down, honestly.
Honestly, same. That's why I wanted you to go first.
Oh, thanks. Well, I started as a classically trained, I am a classically trained singer, but I started also as a theater kid.
Oh, I think it's interesting because I started in musical theater, like full, like Belt Oliver was my first like full show.
Oh my gosh.
I was 8.
You were 8 in Oliver, and were you playing a child or were you playing an adult?
Oh, I was playing a child.
That helps a little bit.
Yeah, I was playing one of the orphans, and the note I kept getting from the director was, Alyssa, stop smiling. You're an orphan and you're hungry. I was just really excited to be there.
That's hysterical, because you were 8 playing an orphan, and meanwhile I was 13 later, because we're close in age. When I was 13, I was an Annie Jr., but I was playing Miss Hannigan.
Yeah.
And I was belting, and I didn't realize I was.
What show did I do when I was 13? Oh, I was in Cats. Playing Bomb Ballerina.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Anyway, but what did classical training do for us now that we're talking about Cats? That's how we know we've gone too far. Anyway.
It's the only show I've ever worn a wig in.
So many thoughts. Anyway, but classical training, though, ultimately has kept me and my voice sane and healthy, ultimately. So I've been very lucky that I've been going back and forth between both genres. I'm singing a little bit more legit musical theater right now, but no, I mean, next year contract signed, so I can talk about this.
Yay!
I'm doing Man of La Mancha in 2025, and I got to use my full range. I got a belt in some things. I got a flip into head voice, and I'm doing a 2-octave range in one song, both belting and then going legit. So
yeah, I've had to do that. I think
we got what we got to do.
The hair toss. Oh my God.
The hair flip.
Toss, no hands. But I think for me, one of the biggest things that it's helped me with is my breath and my alignment.
That is a so much better answer than what I gave. Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
So
That's why I made you go first, so I could think. But the biggest reason for that is, I mean, if you're thinking about it, I'm not going to go into sciencey parts about it, but if you're singing an E6, it is the same breath energy and voice energy as it is belting an E5. So anything an octave up, classical singing, is the same energy an octave down, belting.
I would like to note that the mezzo-soprano on the other side of this call is going, what?
Ooh, welcome to my fun science nerd brain.
Oh no, I know about your science nerd brain.
I call it my singer physics.
You just said E6 and my brain just shortaged, so.
It's shortaged?
See?
You're pretty.
Oh my gosh, thanks. Anyway, I don't know what an E6 is. I've never met her.
I don't know her. I know her very well. She and I have some arguments, but we're fine. We're on speaking terms, at least right now.
Good.
Only for short periods of time, which is about a 16th note, though. Having that knowledge and that energy in that stretch for me has been so important, especially as, I don't know if I talk about this very often. I got pre-nodes when I was in grad school. It was very close to becoming full-on nodules, and I was terrifying. It's a lot more common for high sopranos because once your voice hits C6, your vocal folds are oscillating at 1,000 beats per second. So it's hard for sopranos sometimes, and anyone else who sings a C6. But knowing that C6 and my C5 belt have to have the same amount of energy, breath pressure, and force, for lack of a better term right now, is just, it's helped me figure out how to sing with my voice instead of trying to sing with other people's voices.
That I want to applaud and completely agree with what you're saying. Sing with your own voice. We love strawberry ice creams.
You'll get injured if you don't. Take it from me. I did it.
Just add the sprinkles and the toppings of different styles on top of your flavor of ice cream. Let's continue with this analogy.
Now I just want ice cream.
I know, me too. Anyway, I sing about ice cream and Hansel and Gretel right now too, so it's very hard for me not to so anyway, I've never sung so much about food in my life.
I wish I could sing more about food. That sounds fun.
It's weird, hungry. but the thing is, we're both vegetarians, and I'm singing about bacon as well too, which is it's very funny. So I'm like, wow, here we are,
and here we are, amazing.
And here we are. But yeah, ultimately, I think crossing over is an essential thing happening in the opera world and in the musical theater world. So I just remembered this. I was at a musical theater callback recently and was a little nervous. I had never been called back for this company before. It was also my first time auditioning for this company. And I'm going in going, okay, I know I have a more operatic tone to my legit sound. Let's see if they like it. If they don't, I'm going to stick with being strawberry ice cream and we'll see what happens. I completed the vocal part of my callback and they complimented me, which was very, very kind. And as I was leaving, they said, "Oh, she's an opera singer." And I went, "Oh." And I'm like, "Oh, I've been found out."
Oh no, you tried to hide it so hard.
If I'm singing legit, it's pretty hard to hide. So, but that's when I went internally, realized I'm like, okay, they're either going to love it, they're going to hate it, but I am this flavor of ice cream. Let's see if they end up casting me, or we'll see what happens. And they ended up casting me. So you never know whatever direction you might be doing if you're crossing over and you're going into a theater audition or you're singing musical theater at an opera audition, just be the best flavor of ice cream that you possibly can on that day too, because things happen and ultimately the universe is going to put you where you need to be. And if the job is right for you, it will find you.
Yeah.
I feel like we just need to call this episode ice cream flavors.
Bel Canto can Belto, the ice cream
vanilla ice cream edition.
Oh, that's happening.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you all so much for listening. If you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to the show so that you never miss an episode. Apple recently did a thing where they unsubscribed everyone. So if you could just go in, make sure that you're subscribed so that you never miss us. If you really loved this episode, we would love to see you tag us in your stories so that we can connect with more of our followers. Don't forget to check out any of our show notes for resources that we offer.
Thank you so much for listening.
We'll see you next week.
That too.
Bye.
That's definitely going to be the sign off.